I know that that's the next step for me in terms of aligning and balancing all the parts of myself. Hey, it's Liz, and let's see. Today was the first day that I did something in over a month, and that would be self-directed yoga. And I have no idea if there's actually a name for it or not, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about it because part of it is kind of facing my fears related to it. So for yoga, I first was introduced to it over a decade ago and did it on and off for years, just as like the gym classes and things like that. I very much enjoyed just the overall sensation in your body, like, you know what I mean if you've done yoga, where it's like you feel it everywhere. It's not like weight training or anything where you can kind of pick and choose the muscle groups and areas of your body that you want to work. Yoga hits every part. But then obviously yoga is also a very spiritual practice, and that is an area in which I never really connected with in the past, but something I felt very strongly about wanting to try for a while was actually not taking a class or following a YouTube video or anything, but just letting my body move the way that it feels like moving. I've had some health issues, both internally and externally, and yeah, I've been exploring ways to get better in touch and better align all parts of my being, because I very much believe at this point, now that it's been nearly a decade of these physical ailments occurring and seeing multiple doctors and never having, like, I didn't really get any answers from any of the doctors that I would see that fully addressed the situation at hand. And so it's been in the past couple years that, or I should probably say the last 2 years in particular, if not overly done in this past year, looking at other options and other ways of treating my body and overall well-being. That's like a story for another time. It's very long-winded and I would need to organize my thoughts for that. But one of the things that I've been feeling very drawn to and very much feeling like I need to do is self-directed yoga, where it's just like focusing on the breathing, allowing my body to move, loosen up, and like hold the positions that feel right for my body and not straining it in any way or anything like that. And so I first did it a month ago, and it was a single week that I did it, and yeah, it was very overwhelming. I felt very much in touch with my energy. It was a completely different experience than I've ever had when doing yoga in the past, and I feel like doing it by myself, it really stripped away all the distractions of other people, being in an environment around other energies, and just being able to be in my own space, listening to myself, and pretty much like allowing myself to listen without putting any direction on top of it. And I don't know if that makes sense, where it's like I'm listening to myself without talking to myself. And I kind of see it as just kind of the separation between the logic brain and the intuitive brain. And so I've been trying to quiet my logical, analytical side, which has been very much ruling. I'm a Virgo, and so that comes very naturally to me, and a sense of control and organization. And so been working on trusting my intuition and allowing to quiet all of my thoughts and everything, to allow that side to speak, so I can pretty much like, I can learn that language, if you will, or I should say maybe like rediscover it. That's probably a better term to have for it. But in that experience, what I found over the course of the 5 days that I was doing it, it started, the first few days, it was just starting with the release of breathing deeply and just quieting my thoughts, and then just allowing myself to feel a lot of things that I normally keep at bay for the sake of following routine, being organized, being on top of things, and I would just bawl. Yeah, I know that I am very emotional, and I've been working on releasing my emotions and everything, but I also know that I have a lot of emotional trauma that's still saved up, and I've only been scratching the surface. And so this was a great exercise with starting this, like the yoga by myself. I don't even know. I'm sorry for any yogis out there that are like cringing every time I call this yoga. But as of now, this is kind of how I see it. So tell me in the comments below what I should call this if it isn't yoga. I'm very interested in learning more about it, and I'm open to being corrected. But yeah, so in doing the deep breathing and just moving where my body wanted to go, and then eventually obviously laying prone and just breathing and feeling every part of my body, really being able to get in touch not just with the physical sensations that I was feeling, but also the emotional and the mental. And when subsiding the logic and everything and just allowing myself to feel, it was just kind of like opening up the gates, and a lot of emotional baggage was getting released. And over the course of the 5 days, it went from emotional release into new sensations that I've felt a couple times in my life before, but never as strongly. And what I came to realize is it's just the feeling, being able to feel my energy and being able to feel what courses through my body and through my soul, I feel. Or maybe it is my soul that I was feeling, of just the energy all through my body, what connected all of the pieces of myself. And honestly, that really freaked me out. I know that in going down your path to reawakening or being able to recognize all the parts of yourself, I have seen other people say before, and like from my own experience, and especially with this very specific instance, yeah, it just felt like it was just so overwhelming all at once. And in part, it probably was because I wasn't expecting that to happen. But I feel like because I wasn't expecting it to happen, it allowed it to come forward, if that makes sense. But yeah, like it really freaked me out, and I had to withdraw a tiny bit. And that's where I know that I'm still working on easing my ego and being able to let go of control. And I've been doing that with my mind, and I've been doing that with releasing limiting beliefs and everything along those lines. But I hadn't really done it with my physical body. And so I am at a point now that, yeah, like I know that that's the next step for me in terms of aligning and balancing all the parts of myself. I know that I know that that's the direction for me to be going next, especially because of the ailments and the health issues that I currently have. I know that it's all related, and I'm at a point that deep down I'm manifesting these issues in order to push me in the direction that I'm meant to go. So yeah, it's just kind of that interesting direction. I'll make a separate video on my health situation and just the roller coaster that it has been, and how I see that relating to my emotional repression and my overruling of the ego, trying to displace my soul, or my spirit, or my energy, or whatever you want to call it. I kind of use them all synonymously. But yeah, today was the first day that I got back on my mat here at home with no one else here around me. I'm sitting in my own energy and starting to allow myself to feel again. And I know today I was a bit more reserved. I actually had music playing, and so I'm going to ease back into it. And I know a lot of people say like you just have to do it, but you know, I feel like to an extent sometimes like it's all about every little step that you take. If you need to take the small steps, that's fine, just keep moving. And that's where I am right now. I know the direction that I want to go. I know what I am capable of, and I feel so grateful that I'm now at this place that like I not just think those things or want those things, but I know that that's what it is. I know the direction I should go. I know what I deserve. And yeah, like just like I want to be able to not just recognize that, but respect it with the choices that I make, the thoughts that I have, and the life that I'm living in the now. But yeah, so I'm interested in continuing following this direction and this path for physical well-being and further balancing myself entirely. So yeah, this is more so just a little update on that, and just kind of like, just have a lot of thoughts, and I just feel it. Yeah. And I said in a previous video, and I've said in a couple videos, that it's like, part of doing this is I want to be able to put in words and be able to relate to others, but deep down, honestly, I feel like I shouldn't have to put things in words to relate, because I mean, like, language is a construct. Never mind, that's a completely separate topic as well. But yeah, like, language is what we make it. And prior to language, there's a more base level for communication. And I feel like that's just through energy and everything. And I feel like that's very much where I've been. And so I'm subsiding my need for control to express things as simply as possible, or through constructs of our making, such as language, and just trusting that I will express it as it is meant to be, and it will be received by those who are meant to receive it. And that might sound like a complete whatever, but that's where I am. And so I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to roll with it. And I'm accepting myself, and I'm living myself. Have you ever had an experience like this, whether it's with yoga or not necessarily your physical aspect of yourself, but like your mental, emotional, or anything, in which like you started doing something that just altered your mindset and perspective and your reality? And if so, I would love to hear what it is. And yeah, if you have information on like what this like self yoga, that as I'm referencing it, like, is that an okay term? Should I be calling it something else? Is it a specific practice of yoga? I would love to know more. I am doing some side research, but obviously we learn from each other. So whether it's through my own active outreach, or if it's from something that someone gives me, I'm open to receive. To wrap up, I hope that all is well with you and yours, and I will see you next time. Bye!